Alright, so I want to start this video by saying if you're looking for a video with a bunch of crazy edits that's going to give you quick tips and hacks and ideas and things like that to become the next MrBeast, then this probably isn't the video for you. That's not the kind of channel I run. That'll never be the kind of channel I run. I actually want to talk a little bit in depth about some of the life lessons that I think you can learn from following the example of Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast. You know, typically in my life, one of the things that I've made a mistake with is that I've only looked to people who are older than me for life advice or for models for success. As I've got into my 40s, however, I've realized that sometimes people who are younger than you actually have figured things out and that they're doing much better than you, and it's within your best interest to listen to them. And that is certainly the case here with MrBeast. He has taken the YouTube world by storm over the last couple of years. Today, as of this recording, he has over 105 million subscribers, and his videos have billions and billions of views. So as a aspiring 40-year-old YouTuber, someone who wants to make an impact through my videos, I can learn things from MrBeast, and I think you can as well. Recently, I decided to do a deep dive into his backstory and learn as much as I can through the podcast interviews that he's been doing, and there are some incredible gems. His story is one that's worth learning from, and so in this video today, I've come up with 5 different lessons, things that I have personally learned from MrBeast. Whether you want to be a YouTuber or not, whether you just are interested in his success, there are things that you can learn from his example and the way that he has approached his career and the way that he lives his life. Now, I'm not going to spend much time talking about who MrBeast is, because if you don't know who he is, then just go and type the words MrBeast into Google and you'll figure it out pretty damn quick. Probably the reason you clicked on this video is because you know who he is already. So let's just skip that part of it. Let's just say he's wildly successful, and let's get into the lessons that I've learned. Lesson number 1. Everyone starts out badly. One of the most amazing things, if you watch some of the interviews recently with MrBeast, is how much he talks about the fact that he sucked when he started. He was really bad at YouTube. He mentions that he was one of the most shy, awkward, uncomfortable people, and he was completely obsessed with only one thing, and that was making YouTube videos. He said the friends and family around him were tired of him talking about it. That's how much he was obsessed. And yet his obsession drove him to try and find ways to get some success on YouTube. In his Joe Rogan Experience interview, he even says, basically, the first few years, I wasn't even making money off YouTube. I was as awkward as they come. No money, no nothing. You know, I was just basically obsessed over YouTube every day for a decade. Now, that's pretty incredible. I don't know if you know anyone else who has failed time and time and time again at something that they're passionate about. Maybe you're one of those people. I know I have been in the past as well. But I think it's really encouraging to know that he started from a poor place. He wasn't actually successful immediately. In fact, it was over 6 to 7 years before he really started to get any virality. And I think that's really crucially important to remember, that we all start out badly, we all start out uncomfortably, we all start out not getting what we want in the short term. But it's that obsession, it's that persistence that he had that pushed him through. And I think that's really crucial for us to remember in the early stages, that no matter what you do, you're going to kind of suck in the beginning until you figure your way out. Lesson number 2 is going for broke. MrBeast has been very open about the fact that he had no other life plan except for succeeding on YouTube. It's that old burn the bridges philosophy that people talk about. When you have no plan B, you have to make plan A work. That is exactly the case here. He mentions the fact that when he finished school, his mother said to him he either had to go to college or he had to move out. So what he did instead of going to college every day was to sit in his car and to edit videos for his YouTube channel. At the time, that was incredibly irresponsible to do. He looked like he was wasting his time in his life, but what he was actually doing in the background was mastering the skill of creating videos. He even explained to Logan Paul in his interview on Impulsive, he said, "At the peak of my hustle, I would do anything. I wanted it so bad. I was a college dropout and I didn't really have much money. Just wanted to succeed no matter what." Now, whether or not you are actually interested in creating videos doesn't really matter. The point here is that at some point in your life, if there's something that you're really passionate about, you have to go for broke. You have to say, I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to make this succeed. Now, this attitude of going for broke is a part of most successful people's stories. If you read biographies and autobiographies, at some point, every one of them has no plan B. They just decide, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it work. And I think realistically, that's the kind of level of intensity that you need to succeed at a high level in anything. That's what drove MrBeast to finally break through. He was willing to either succeed or to kind of die trying. It sounds extreme, but I think it is a core component of the success that we seek. authentic. Lesson number 3, the value is in the idea. This one really hit home for me because this is where Jimmy starts to talk about some of the tactics that he used that kind of separate him from a lot of other people out there in the YouTube space. But I think it's relevant in business, it's relevant in sports, in any creative endeavor. The value of the idea that you have is what will make it stand out. In his interview with Joe Rogan, he mentioned the fact that for 4 years early in his YouTube career, he would spend an hour a day just brainstorming ideas, trying to come up with innovative ways and ideas and things that he could do differently to improve his videos and to become a better YouTuber. He even had a group of other people who he would brainstorm with who were trying to build their YouTube channels, and their learning and their development accelerated because they were brainstorming ideas together. Very often we forget about this idea in our lives. We think that we just have to keep doing work and we don't think about how we can innovate or we can improve what we're doing. But as MrBeast said himself, he said once you realize how important an original idea is, you just obsess over how do I get more ideas? How do I get better ideas? This is a really key thing that I have started to implement into not just my videos, but my business. Everything that I'm doing in my life is sitting down once a day for about an hour and brainstorming and thinking, how can I improve what I'm doing? How can I think of a better way to do this? What's a new idea that I can try? And then whatever good ideas I have, testing them out. And I think it's really crucial to remember that it's not just hard work that gets you ahead, but it's the value of the idea. And that's why creative thinking and brainstorming is such a crucial part of success. Lesson number 4, reinvesting. This one's really interesting in comparison to most people on YouTube in that MrBeast essentially lives a very simple life. He actually lives in the studio that he has created to create videos. He seems to have a fairly normal, average existence. The reason he does this is because he invests almost every dollar that he makes from his videos back into creating better videos. This is something that's very important in business, reinvesting in your product and your service and your company as you make profit. But I think it's also crucial as a person. The more that you're willing to reinvest in your skills and your personal development, the greater value you have as a person. And this is something that very often we start to forget, especially as we create a certain level of success. I think this is one of the biggest reasons that MrBeast has succeeded to the level that he has. And if you watch a lot of his interviews, he talks about this exact thing. It's very obvious that the reinvestment in creating better, larger, more exciting videos is the thing that's making him stand out. In his interview on the Colin and Samir show, he says, I just kept going and reinvesting. So for the last 8 or 9 years, it's like every dollar I've made, I've spent in the next month in content. I just did that every single month and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and here we are. So it's kind of hidden in plain sight. The fact that he keeps reinvesting his money back into his product, in a sense, is what's making him stand out. It's the reason his videos are doing so much better. And it's not just money, it's also time. He's mentioned that he will spend a whole day recording and just edit it down to 15 seconds of entertaining on-screen time. This is one of the things I think as a creative person we forget, is that you have to invest and reinvest in your products and your services and your skills so that they become better and they start to stand out against the competition. It's not enough just to create volume, you have to create better quality as well, because as things get better, other people get better, the market becomes more demanding and you have to compete with that, and the only way to do that is to keep reinvesting. Lesson number 5, staying human. I think this is one of the biggest things that stood out to me as I watched his interviews in the podcast, was that MrBeast just genuinely seems like a normal person. He dresses normally, he acts kind of awkwardly and shy at times, he's not overly comfortable in groups, and he even admits as such that he's just a YouTube geek who loves making videos. The fact that he is very human, he's not overly polished, he's not fake, he's not too professional, that's what creates an appeal. Especially in the times we live in today, I think it's crucially important to focus on authenticity. It's one of the things that has driven my channel a lot, is that I don't want to just be over the top and be rah-rah and try to be like a lot of motivational people, because that's not who I am as a person. This is who I am, just a person who loves sharing ideas. And so I've really tried to follow that philosophy in my own videos and my own approach to business and to life in general, is to be human and to be authentic. And it's a really good lesson. I think the way the world is moving today, we are moving away from being fake and overly professional or inauthentic. We're moving into a stage of genuineness and authenticity. So embrace that in whatever you do, whether it is in business, whether it is in your creative pursuit. Find ways to be more human, and I think you'll find that people relate to you more. The last point that I want to share here is one that's kind of overarching in MrBeast's career so far, and that is beating the odds through persistence. The more time you do something, the better the chances you have of succeeding. If you're creating a lot of videos, one of them will likely become a hit. If you do something for long enough, people will tend to notice you and start to recognize. Plus, on top of that, that your skills just get better and the quality of what you do improves. It's just obvious that if you persist at something, eventually you will succeed. If you go through MrBeast's video catalog, there are many times, especially early on, where he wanted to quit. He says as such in some of the videos, but he kept going just one day at a time, creating one more video, and over time that led to him finding the formula that worked for him and to start to create his own unique version of success. This is really inspiring to me because I think very often we can fall into the trap of trying to find the quick hacks or the tips or the tricks that will make us succeed faster, when actually succeeding slower is what helps you to beat the odds. It's the persistence and it's the patience that really makes the impact. So this is a lesson that I'm taking into creating my own videos, into my professional speaking, and into my business, and into my life in general, is to remember that you will beat the odds through persistence. It's a crucial part of becoming a success, whatever that means to you and however you would like to live your life. I recommend you go and check out some of the recent podcasts that MrBeast has been on. They're very insightful and it's great to get a different perspective, especially if you are a creator or you're a person who wants to succeed in your own unique way. He has some really valuable insights to share. I hope these ideas have been valuable for you. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our community. My name is Daniel Midson-Short. Thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for improving yourself.